The Radical. Fundamental principles of freedom, rational self-interest, and individual rights. The Radical. The Yaron Fundamental.
All right, little mishap there. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. Welcome to Yaron Brook Show. Let's see. I don't know how many of you attended the Ironman Institute's OCON over the weekend, but it was a terrific event. Some really good lectures, great socializing via Zoom. They came up with this way to socialize, which was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was a really, really good event. So hopefully some of you got a chance to enjoy it, and many of you will catch up and get to see the lectures after the fact when they post them at some point up online. But yeah, I thought that the socializing, breakout rooms and stuff in Zoom was a terrific idea and really, really, really effective. So, okay, so today we're going to talk about basketball. Why not, right? We're trying to avoid, right? Why is Black Monday tomorrow? What's black about tomorrow? Anyway, we're trying to not talk about coronavirus. I'm just tired of it, and it's been like, I don't know, 28 shows about it already. So trying to come up with a wide diversity of other topics to talk about. So I thought we'd talk about basketball today, but generally maybe broaden it to sports more generally and the value of sports, what we all see in it. Of course, happy to take your Super Chat questions, so bring it on. Bring on any kind of Super Chat questions you have on any topic, including the Wuhan virus, as some people insist on calling it, or COVID-19, as the more technical name would be. So feel free to bring that on. What else? Yeah, don't forget at the end of the show always to like, share, and those of you who value the show and get something out of it, I really appreciate your support for the show. So you can do that on yaronbrookshow.com/support. You can also go to locals.com. Yaron Brook Show on locals.com, which is Dave Rubin's new platform. And you can also support the show through locals.com. And we're going to try to figure out how to use locals.com more in the months and years to come. Interest is now at 0% in Norway. Why would that why would that cause a Black Monday? Like, with all due respect to Norway, it doesn't really matter for the rest of the world what Norway does. No, you want to refinance your house, you have to wait till negative interest rates. I want people to pay me for the mortgage, not me pay them. Ain't happening. I wish, but it's not happening. All right, let's see. Okay, so we've got this documentary on ESPN. I've been watching it. We've had, I guess tonight are the last two episodes, episode 9 and 10. They've had 8 episodes so far on Michael Jordan's final season with the Chicago Bulls, the 1997-1998 season. His second three-peat, that is his 6th title, NBA Finals championship. And it's a fascinating documentary. I mean, I think it's fascinating even if you're not completely hooked on basketball. I think it's fascinating if you just like sports, if you like achievers, if you like the kind of passion, dedication, focus, energy that it takes to be world-class at anything. So I would recommend. I mean, my wife and I watch it. She's not a huge basketball fan. She likes basketball. She's not a huge basketball fan, and she's enjoying it. It's a really terrific show. It kind of goes throughout. It goes throughout Michael Jordan's career. It also captures some of the careers of his other stars on the Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and it tells the story of the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. I'm curious to see how the final 2 episodes play out, but the first 8 were terrific. I mean, Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player ever. I don't think there's any question about that. And he's He's an interesting character. He's got real charisma. He's got real appeal. He seems like he's an interesting person. And you get a sense of that character during the show. You get a sense of this. You get a sense of this throughout the show. And what you really get a sense is Jordan, and what I think is inspiring about the show, and is Jordan's commitment to excellence. Not just his excellence, but because this is a team sport, he can't win by himself. He has to get everybody else around him on board. He has to get everybody else around him as committed, as motivated, as passionate, as excited about winning as he is. And I think that's the most interesting part of the show, is how he does that, and how he pushes that, and how he really really motivates them. And some of that is not pretty, right? Some of the motivation is being very critical of them, and being very intense with them, and telling them when they suck, and telling them they're not trying enough, and pushing them, and pushing them, and pushing them. And, of course, Jordan is criticized for this throughout his career, and criticized for this by some people on the show, and I think by the reviews I see afterwards, is, he was too tough. He was too, he wasn't friendly enough. He was too obnoxious. He wasn't nice. And you hear that about people like Steve Jobs, and you hear that about certain businessmen. And it drives me nuts. What are you talking about? If you have a single-minded focus on something, you are driven. You're working to the max. And one of the things the show shows is the extent to which Jordan worked hard for this. I mean, he knew how to relax, play golf, do other stuff. He also gambled a lot. But he knew how to, when the time came, he was unbelievably focused and committed, and nothing distracted him from winning, from being the best that he could be, from being best in the world. Incredibly competitive. And the same thing can be said of somebody like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos. All great business leaders are the same way. They're committed. They work unbelievably hard. They commit all their energy and their thought to the business. And yeah, when people don't perform, when people don't live up to the expectations, when people slack off, they get angry. But that's because they're valuers. If you don't get angry, you're not alive. If you don't get angry, you're not a valuer. If you don't get angry, life doesn't matter really to you. So, to me, what's inspiring about these people is how committed they are and how willing they are to lay it on the line, and how committed they are to be obnoxious sometimes in order to get the job done. And to see kind of Michael Jordan's requiring perfection from everybody around him, demanding they work as hard as he does, demanding that they play not as good as he does, because nobody could play that well, but to play as well as they could, as well as they had the potential to play. I mean, that to me is inspiring. It is amazing. And to see the basketball games as played in the 80s and 90s, and I've been a basketball fan going back to the 70s. I love basketball. It's a great game. I'm a fair weather fan. I'm a fan of the Celtics, so I follow basketball when the Celtics are good, and I tend to not follow basketball when the Celtics are no good. And all great basketball players, but this is true of all great athletes. If you look at, what's his name, the guy, the sprint champion, Ball, the Jamaican. I mean, the amount of work, effort, focus, concentration, total commitment, everything in your life dedicated to being the best that you can be. I mean, I wish all of us could be that good at what we do, that committed to what we do. Usain Bolt, that's right, Usain Bolt. And the pride that they have in it. I mean, they exude pride. They don't apologize. Usain Bolt, sorry. They don't apologize for being excellent. They don't apologize for striving to be the best in the world. They don't apologize for winning medals. They don't apologize for breaking records. On the contrary, they relish it. It's the one area in life, sports is. And this is true of Messi and Cristiano, what's his name, in soccer. It's true of Cristiano Ronaldo in soccer. It's true of Pelé when he was in soccer. You know, if you go back that far. Or my favorite soccer player was of all time was Johan Cruyff. If you go back and you know, they're not embarrassed by their success. They don't apologize for it. Sports is the one area where we embrace pride. Pride is a commitment to excellence. Pride is a commitment to being the best that you can be at something. We embrace that. There's no humility in sports. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, none of those people have humility. And of course, if you see this, it's magnificent to see because, again, that commitment to excellence you don't see in other areas of life. That embracing of pride you don't see in other areas of life. And if and when you do see them in other areas of life, then the culture attacks it. The culture puts it down. The culture denounces it. The one area where you're still allowed to be a winner, the one area where you're still allowed to be excellent, to strive to be the best that you can be, to make a lot of money and be proud of making a lot of money. And the culture embraces it. The culture cheers you on. The culture supports you. The only area left is sports. Egalitarianism has not yet reached sports. The idea of it's all deterministic and you didn't build that has not reached sports. Or, you know, Obama didn't use Michael Jordan as an example for you didn't build that because he knew he'd be ridiculed. The culture would not have accepted it. So the striving within the rules, cheating is frowned upon. Whether that cheating involves taking disallowed medications and whether that should be allowed or shouldn't be allowed is a separate issue. But it's the fact that these are the rules. People expect you to follow the rules. And as long as you're not, you know, gambling and selling your team out or you know, like the Black Sox, I guess, or anything else, people still love sports and they don't envy in the same way the kind of success and the money that athletes generate. And it's the one area in life where you win is considered a good thing, a positive, not something to be denounced. I mean, I posted today a story about, you know, the potential for Jeff Bezos to be a trillionaire one day, right? He might be the first trillionaire. And man, the hatred towards Jeff Bezos, the denunciation of billionaires. And this is from people who will follow me on Facebook. So we're not talking about crazy left. Oh, he's just a crony. Crony where? Give me one example of cronyism. Why can't we admire billionaires as we admire athletes, indeed billionaires? By the way, Michael Jordan is a billionaire. Why can't we admire billionaires in business who have contributed to our lives a gazillion times more than any athlete ever has and ever will, yet we resent them for it? The athlete we put on a pedestal, the businessman we crush. Why is it that we hate success? We hate winners. We hate victory. Only in